It's already over, and nobody noticed the real reason until tonight. The show hasn't even started. The trophy hasn't been handed out. And yet, behind the curtain, something just leaked that's going to flip this entire BET Awards conversation upside down. You weren't supposed to see this. But now that you have, we're going all the way in. Okay, y'all, pull in close, because what I'm about to break down is one of those stories where the timing is just a little too clean to be a coincidence. And once you see what I see, you're not going to be able to unsee it. This is the kind of move that only makes sense if you understand how this game is really played behind the cameras. Because on the surface, it looks like a basketball game. It looks like a casual Saturday night out. It looks like nothing at all. But baby, in this industry, nothing is ever nothing. Let me catch you up real quick, and then we're going to walk straight into the part nobody else is talking about. So Claressa Shields, undisputed boxing champion, loud personality, never afraid to say what's on her mind, suddenly shows up at an Atlanta Dream WNBA game. She's smiling. She's clapping. She's posted on the jumbotron. She's cheering for Angel Reese. Angel Reese. Read that again. The same Angel Reese that Claressa publicly side-eyed less than a year ago for winning BET Sportswoman of the Year. And the timing? Days before the 2026 BET Awards. The same award she's been chasing for years. The same award her name keeps getting attached to and then floating away from like smoke. Now, here's the part where my eyebrow stays raised. Because in this business, you don't just randomly pop up at the event of the person you publicly threw shade at. Not unless somebody, somewhere, told you that you need to, or unless you finally figured it out yourself. And that's what we're going to unpack tonight, because the real story here is not the game. The real story is what the game is being used for. Let's rewind, because context is everything. Last year, Angel Reese took home BET Sportswoman of the Year, and Claressa, in true Claressa fashion, did not hold her tongue. She came out and basically said the award shouldn't go to somebody based on a single season. She said it should go to somebody whose career has been built and earned over years. Almost like a lifetime achievement honor wrapped up in a category. Which, look, in her mind, makes sense. She's a two-time Olympic gold medalist. She's an undisputed champion across multiple weight classes. She's done things in women's boxing nobody else has done. So when she sees a college star get a trophy she's been chasing while she's been bodying opponents internationally, her pride hit her before her PR team could. But here's the lie, and I'm just going to say it. That's not how the award actually works. The category, by the network's own rules, is built around impact during the eligibility period. 1 year, one window, one conversation. So when she made her statement, the category itself basically waved a hand and said, "Ma'am, that's not how this works." Now, fast forward to this week. And suddenly, Claressa is courtside. She's posing. She's smiling next to Angel Reese, energy in the air. Suddenly, she's a fan. Suddenly, the bar has not just been buried. It's been paved over with brand new concrete. And y'all, I don't know about you, but when somebody who has built an entire career on never backing down suddenly looks like they're backing down quietly, with cameras conveniently in position, the question I always ask is the same one. Who told her this would help her chances? Because somebody did. I would put real money on it. Now here is where I'm going to slow down, because the next part is the part the casual viewer is going to miss. In this business, your image going into award season is not an accident. It is engineered. It is whispered about in green rooms. It is shaped in DMs that you and I will never see. Publicists call producers. Producers call showrunners. Showrunners call category committees. By the time the trophies are printed, the conversation around your name is already locked in. And right now, Claressa Shields' team appears to be in full image laundering mode. I said what I said. Think about how she pulled up. Box seats. Black effect afterglow still lingering. Papoose right next to her. Visible. Camera ready. Remember when she said she doesn't need courtside anymore because she could do box seats now? That wasn't a flex for the people. That was a flex for the rooms. For the suits. For the brand decks. For the voters. Now she shows up at a WNBA game in the middle of the league's biggest spotlight moment, in a city that hosts the BET Awards apparatus, supporting last year's BET winner. That's not random. That's a relationship reset. That is a public press release done with body language instead of a tweet. But here's where it gets really interesting, because the move is so layered that it serves three purposes at once. 1. It softens the narrative. People who were ready to say she's bitter now have to pause. Because look, she's clapping for the girl. 2. It opens networking lanes. Reese has a podcast. Reese has Reebok dollars through Shaquille O'Neal's restructured Reebok brand. Reese has reach. 3. And this is the quiet one. It sends a signal to BET's people that Claressa is in the family now. Plays nice. Camera ready. Easy to put on stage. You see what they did? That's not a basketball appearance. That's a campaign stop. But hold on, because while everybody's eyes are on Claressa cheering courtside, somebody else is moving in the dark. And her name is Remy Ma. Yeah, pull up. While the boxing champion is busy doing the soft launch of her redemption arc, the Bronx legend is doing something nobody saw coming. Because remember a few months back, on February 22nd, 2026, Remy made one of the biggest pivots of her entire career. She announced her own talk show on her own network called the Remy Network. She literally said it out of her own mouth. I got my own TV show. Conversation. Real talk. News mixed with gossip. Raw. Unfiltered. Done in true Remy fashion. And the part that broke the internet for a minute? She didn't even have a name for the show. She straight up asked her fans, should I just call it Reminisce? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And just like that, the rap icon transformed into something else. A media owner. A network founder. A voice in a different lane. So when I see Claressa pulling up at the Dream Game days before the BET Awards, and at the same time, I see Remy Ma's name buzzing around award show whispers, and at the same time, I see French Montana and Max be suddenly attached to the 2026 BET lineup, my dot-connecting brain refuses to stand down. Something is being built behind the curtain, and I think I see what it is. So let's open up the file. Let's actually walk through the official performer lineup that BET dropped for the 2026 BET Awards, because once you see the names side by side, you're going to start feeling what I'm feeling. According to the announcement, the show is bringing hip-hop heavyweights, R&B icons, and rising stars. Big sentence. Bigger implications. Let's read the names slowly. Cardi B, Common, Thames, Kehlani, Jill Scott, Rick Ross, T.I., Don Toliver. And yes, Kehlani is being listed twice in the chatter because the rumored set has her in more than one performance moment. Cool. Stacked. Beautiful. R&B legends sharing the stage with chart killers. Hip-hop royalty sharing oxygen with New School. On paper, this is already a great show. But then your eyes hit the part of the list that makes your phone buzz in your hand without anybody texting you. French Montana and Max B. Yo, I need you to sit with that for a second. Because that pairing right there is the part of the lineup that is screaming a story without saying a word. French Montana and Max B together on a BET stage is not just a performance. It's a moment. It's a reunion. It's a piece of New York hip-hop history that fans have been begging for. And the second their names dropped, the internet did exactly what it was supposed to do. It started speculating. The biggest theory that broke through the noise. I hope French brings out Remy Ma. And that is not a wild reach. That is a very, very informed guess. Because Remy herself has talked about it more than once. She has said publicly that she and French and Max go back to before the fame, before the deals, before the cameras. They knew each other when nobody knew them. That bond, in this industry, is rare. That bond is the kind of thing that builds a surprise BET moment. Now, let me paint the picture, because I want you to live in it for a minute. The lights drop. The arena hums. The intro drops. Max B's voice hits. The crowd loses it because half of them never thought they'd get this in their lifetime. French Montana steps out. The visuals are crazy. Hands up. Cameras flashing. Phones in the air. And then, a second beat drops. Different tempo. Different energy. The screen behind them goes dark. The bass drops. And out walks Remy Ma. The crowd? Forget it. Twitter? Forget it. Instagram? Forget it. TikTok algorithm? Brand new feeding frenzy. Trending. Top of every page. Every "did you see" reaction video that gets posted in the next 72 hours starts with that walkout. And from there, you don't even need a complicated transition. Remy steps into her own moment. She runs a quick set. Hits a couple of joints that the longtime fans have been begging to hear live in HD. She nods to her catalog. She nods to her come up. She nods to the women in the audience who grew up watching her go through what she went through and come out a legend. That's a viral moment. That's a 4 million views in 24 hours moment. That's the kind of moment BET lives for, because that's the kind of moment that gets people who quit watching the show years ago to suddenly tune back in. That's the kind of moment that justifies a network reunion. And that, my friend, is exactly why I refuse to believe Remy is missing from this show. She is not missing. She is loading. But let me get a little spicy with it for a second. Here is the thing the rumor circuit keeps trying to push. They want you to believe that the performer list you see online is the full list. That what BET released is what BET is bringing. That whatever isn't on the announcement isn't on the stage. That is the lie. Here is the truth. BET hasn't announced a surprise performer in years that actually leaked early. The whole point of a surprise act is that it's not on the press release. The whole point of a curtain drop reveal is that nobody types the name into a Google Doc before showtime. So if Remy Ma was the surprise act, she would not be on that paper. Period. Point blank. So when people say, I don't see Remy on the list, so she's not performing, what they're really telling on themselves about is that they don't know how this industry rolls out its biggest moments. The names on the press release are decoys. They're appetizers. They're the show before the show. The real headliners hide in the gaps. And French and Max being on the list, while Remy is being suspiciously absent from it, is not a coincidence. It is a setup. It is BET telling the eagle-eyed audience. If you're paying attention, you already know. I'm just saying, be paying attention. Now let's swing the camera back to the other side of this conversation, because we still haven't fully answered the Claressa Shields question. Sportswoman of the Year for 2026 is one of the most stacked categories in recent memory, and it's not even close. The field is so deep that any winner is going to have to fight off 6 legitimate frontrunners. You've got Shakira Richardson, who turned in another season of explosive performances in track and field and continues to be one of the most televised athletes in any sport. You've got Naomi Osaka, who, every time she steps on a court, instantly becomes the most watched player at the entire event. You've got Jordan Chiles, who continues to be a household gymnastics name. You've got Gabby Thomas, who has been quietly stacking medals and headlines in track. You've got Coco Gauff, who is still adding hardware and endorsements like she has a vending machine. And then you've got the WNBA bench, Angel Reese, Aya Wilson, and, of course, Claressa Shields. Now here's the part where I'm going to be honest with you. If we were ranking purely on the criteria the network uses, Aya Wilson is the name that keeps floating to the top. She has had one of those years that you only get once or twice in a career. Another title push, another individual award conversation, a Time magazine moment, high-profile endorsement deals, cover stories, visibility in places that aren't even sports outlets. The kind of year where you can flip through a magazine in an airport and see her face 3 times before you even reach your gate. And what makes it even more powerful is that her support system has been part of the story too. People talk about how the people closest to her celebrate her wins like it's their own. That kind of life energy follows you into rooms, and rooms vote. Don't pretend they don't. So if Aya takes it home, nobody is going to be shocked. If she doesn't take it home, the internet is going to riot. Either way, somebody is leaving with smoke. But what about Claressa though? Because I know somebody in the comments is already typing, but she deserves it. Listen, the case for Claressa is real. She is a generational boxer. She continues to fight at elite levels in a sport that has historically given women crumbs. Every time she enters the ring, she pulls more eyes onto women's boxing than the sport pulls on its own. That matters. That counts. That builds a legacy. But the issue is not whether she has a career. The issue is whether the eligibility period favored her or favored somebody else. And when you stack 12 months of Aya Wilson against 12 months of Claressa Shields, the visibility gap, the cultural footprint, and the brand momentum lean one way. That doesn't mean Claressa can't pull the upset. Awards have politics. Performances of certain personalities outside the actual sport have swayed votes before. And let's be very honest, she's been campaigning. The Atlanta Dream Game appearance is part of the campaign. The Hawks game appearance after the Black Effect event was part of the campaign. The box seats with Papoose was part of the campaign. The careful softening of her past Angel Reese statements is part of the campaign. In other words, this is no longer a if I get nominated Claressa. This is a I'm going to be in every photo I need to be in Claressa. And I respect the strategy. I genuinely do. But strategy by itself doesn't win the trophy. Body of work does. So we'll see. Now, This is the part where I want to add something that I have not seen anyone else say out loud yet, because I've been sitting with this for a few days and I think it deserves the spotlight. Behind the scenes, multiple people who pay close attention to award show booking have been quietly pointing out that BET has been making moves this cycle that suggest they want to repair some bridges. They want their stage to feel like a family reunion, not a battleground. That's why the lineup leans into the old school meets new school energy. That's why the buzz keeps circling around legacy names like Max be getting his proper moment. That's why even smaller award categories are reportedly being reframed to spread love instead of spark feuds. So when Claressa pulls up at Angel Reese's game, smiling, clapping, getting on the jumbotron, you have to ask, is this Claressa rebuilding her relationship with BET on her own? Or is this Claressa being told that this is how you rebuild that relationship if you want a real shot at the trophy? I can't prove that. Nobody outside the rooms can. But the timing is louder than any quote could ever be. And when timing is this loud, you don't ignore it. You note it. You bookmark it. And when the show actually airs, you watch what happens next. Because the truth is, the BET Awards has not just become an award show. It has become a board meeting with confetti. Now let's circle back to Remy, because I left something on the table earlier and you deserve the whole plate. The Remy Network move is not a one-off. This is not, rapper starts a podcast. This is a media play. She is positioning herself to own the conversation that has historically been spun about her, not by her. Think about it. Rap legend already has the iconic moments. Already has the trauma stories that other outlets have monetized for years. Already has a husband who has become a household personality in his own right. Already has a fan base that turns up the moment her name vibrates in the timeline. What does she still need? A studio, a platform, a channel, distribution. And now, the Remy Network gives her all four. So when whispers start spreading that Remy might pop up at the BET Awards as a surprise act, what you're actually watching is a launch campaign disguised as a guest appearance. Because if she walks out behind French Montana and Max B and turns the arena into a Bronx block party for 3 minutes, what does that do for her brand? It does everything. Suddenly the woman who just announced a network is back on every magazine cover. Suddenly her show, whether it ends up being called Reminisce or something else, is the most anticipated daytime moment of the year. Suddenly every booker in entertainment is calling her team to lock her in for the press cycle. Suddenly the Remy Network becomes appointment viewing before its first episode even airs. That's not a performance. That's a press conference disguised as a performance. So now look at the full board. On one side, you have Claressa Shields doing the quiet redemption press tour, clapping for Angel Reese, getting visible in the right rooms, softening her image right before voting closes. On the other side, you have Remy Ma sitting on a new network announcement, possibly being held in reserve as the BET Awards' biggest surprise, and ready to walk out and turn the entire night into her launch event. Two storylines. Same award show, same week, same chessboard. And in the middle of both, you have BET sitting back, knowing exactly what they have, knowing exactly what they're about to drop, and knowing exactly how the internet is going to react when it all hits. You see why I said earlier that this is already over before it even starts? Because while everybody else is still arguing about whether Cardi's set is going to outshine Tim's, or whether Common is going to do a Soul Train tribute, the real two stories of the night are already locked in. The campaign of Claressa Shields and the comeback of Remy Ma. Everything else is decoration. Now I want to challenge y'all for a second. I want you to imagine this is not gossip. I want you to imagine for the next 60 seconds that you are inside the building. Hospitality green rooms, card key elevators, black SUVs in the back lot, earpieces in everyone's ears, producers running headsets, sound checks for the surprise act, security holding doors closed for a name you're not allowed to see yet. Then you start thinking, who is BET hiding? Who is BET shielding from public soundcheck? Who is the one act that has not been seen rehearsing publicly all week, even though almost everybody else has? If you've ever been around how these shows really get built, you already know. The act that nobody sees during the day is the act they're protecting for the night. And right now, in this version of the BET Awards, Remy Ma is the perfect candidate. Could I be wrong? Of course. I'm not in the building. I'm in this chair. But the dots are connecting too cleanly. Remy publicly bonded with French and Max. French and Max are confirmed for the show. Remy just opened her own network and needs a major launch moment. Remy is one of the few legacy female rappers who has never had a true BET stage takeover. BET needs a viral moment for the digital era. Every single one of those checkboxes is filled. Tell me, with a straight face, you don't see it. And now let me get a little messy for a second, because I want to address the people in the comments who are already typing, "You're reaching." Y'all don't reach when it's somebody else. Y'all don't reach when it's Drake. Y'all don't reach when it's Beyonce. Y'all don't reach when it's a Kardashian. But the second I lay out a clean theory about a black female rap legend possibly headlining a surprise moment on a network where she belongs, suddenly I'm reaching? Make it make sense. Because either we connect the dots when the dots are loud, or we sit here and pretend the dots aren't there until the moment hits the screen, and then everybody tweets, "I knew it." Nah, I'm not playing that game with y'all today. I called it in real time. You saw it in real time. Whatever happens, happens. But the analysis stays on tape. This is the same energy we use when we look at any other major industry move. We don't wait for the press release to confirm what the patterns are screaming. We read the patterns. We read the room. We watch the chessboard. And we say what we see. Anything less than that is just being a fan, and we are not just fans here. We are observers. We are tea drinkers. We are dot connectors. Let's recap the cast of characters in this drama, because by now you know everybody, but it's worth slowing down so the new viewer can catch up. Claressa Shields, boxer, champion, Sportswoman of the Year hopeful, currently in soft launch redemption arc mode, was loud about Angel Reese last year, now applauding Angel Reese this year. Box seats, Papoose by her side, camera ready every time, reads the room, sometimes reads it too late, but always eventually reads it. Angel Reese, WNBA star, reigning BET Sportswoman of the Year, has a podcast, has Reebok dollars, has cultural reach, is now suddenly, quietly, accepting the support of the same woman who side-eyed her last year. Smiling for the camera, but you know she clocked it. Aya Wilson, the current frontrunner, Time Magazine, endorsements, WNBA dominance, cover stories, has the kind of year that wins trophies in any era. Remy Ma, rap icon, now a network owner, possibly the surprise of the night. Friends with French Montana and Max B since before they were famous. Has every motive in the world to walk out on that stage and flip the entire show. French Montana, confirmed performer, friend of Remy. Max B, confirmed performer, friend of Remy. Comeback moment, long overdue. Bet, the puppeteer, holding all the strings, waiting for the curtain. That's the whole cast. And the play, my friends, has not even reached intermission. Now ask yourself this question. What would shock you more on the night of the BET Awards? A clean, predictable show where the announced lineup runs exactly as announced and no surprises happen? Or a moment where French and Max are mid-set, the bass cuts out, the screen goes black, and the unmistakable Bronx voice of Remy Ma hits the speakers before her body even hits the stage? Be honest, you already know the answer. The reason you already know the answer is because in your gut, you know what this show is being designed for. It's designed for that screenshot moment. It's designed for that tweet that gets 400,000 retweets in 90 minutes. It's designed for that TikTok that loops on every For You page for 3 days straight. It's designed for the kind of cultural moment that gets old fans to tune back in and brand new fans to subscribe. And the only way you get that moment is if you build it in secret. So I keep coming back to the same conclusion. Remy is not missing from the lineup because she's not on it. Remy is missing from the lineup because she is the lineup. Now, to be fair to the people who disagree with me, let me steelman the other side. There is a world where Claressa pulled up to the Dream Game purely because she wanted a Saturday night out. There is a world where she happened to land in a seat that lined up with the jumbotron. There is a world where Angel Reese just happened to be the player she clapped for because Angel scored a basket in front of her. There is a world where this is all just a basketball game and nothing more. There is also a world where French Montana and Max B are on the lineup because they got booked, and that's just where it stops. There is a world where Remy is genuinely not on the show because her schedule did not align. There is a world where every dot I just connected is just a dot. Sure, but if you've been in this business long enough, you also know that just a dot stories don't usually come bundled with this much synchronized timing. Coincidences happen. Stacks of coincidences this clean don't. So you can disagree. You can call me dramatic. You can call me a reach. You can also bookmark this video and come back to it after the show airs. Either way, the receipts will speak for themselves. Here is where I want to leave you. By the time the BET Awards lights come down on the 2026 stage, 3 things are going to be very clear. 1. Sportswoman of the Year is going to be one of the tightest, most emotionally charged categories of the night, and whoever does not win is going to ignite a multi-day debate that lasts longer than the show itself. Whether it's Angel Reese, Aya Wilson, Shakira Richardson, or yes, even Claressa Shields, the social media reaction is going to be louder than the actual envelope reveal. 2. The lineup we see on paper is not the lineup we see on the stage. There will be at least one surprise act. There will be at least one walkout moment that nobody on the internet predicted out loud, except for me right here in this seat. And when it hits, the trending tab is going to do what the trending tab always does. 3. Behind every smile, every clap, every courtside appearance, every casual pull-up, every announcement of a new network, every confirmed slot on a lineup, there is a chess move. And once you start watching the show with that lens, you can't watch it any other way again. That's the gift, and that's also the curse of doing this kind of analysis. So now I want to flip the mic to you. Do you believe Remy Ma is being held in the BET vault as the surprise of the night? Do you think she's about to walk out behind French Montana and Max B and end careers in real time? Or do you think the rumor train is running on fumes and she's not going to be there at all? Do you believe Claressa Shields' Atlanta Dream Game appearance was a casual outing? Or do you believe what I believe, which is that this is a calculated, very intentional move to reset her relationship with BET right before voting closes? And the biggest one of all, if Aya Wilson does not win Sportswoman of the Year, who do you actually believe deserves it more? Who has the better case in your eyes? Is it Angel back-to-back? Is it Claressa finally? Is it Shakira reclaiming her moment? Is it Naomi or Coco or Gabby or Jordan? Drop your honest take in the comments. The messier the take, the better. I want to read every single one. I want to see the debates breaking out in the replies. I want to come back tomorrow and find your hot takes still arguing with each other. Because that is the whole point of having this conversation. Awards don't matter if nobody talks about them. And we, in this comment section, are the talk. And before I let you go, I want to plant one last seed, because I want to be the first person to say this out loud. If Remy Ma does walk out as the surprise act, watch what happens to the Remy Network announcement within 24 hours. Watch how fast the network's first official date gets locked in. Watch how fast the merch drops. Watch how fast the guest list for episode 1 starts leaking. Watch how fast the timeline turns from, I wonder when it's coming to, I can't believe it's already here. That is the play. That is the entire master plan in one move. A walkout turns into a network launch. A network launch turns into a multi-year media platform. A media platform turns into the next stage of Remy's career, where she is no longer being interviewed about her own story. She is owning the room where everyone else gets interviewed about theirs. Most people don't see it because most people are still watching the surface. Cardi's outfit, Common's intro, Rick Ross chain, Don Toliver's vibe. But you and me, we're watching the wires under the stage. We're watching the cue cards behind the teleprompter. We're watching the surprise list that nobody is supposed to see. And the surprise list, baby, has Remy Ma at the top of it, whether they want to admit it or not. Let me drop a few more pieces on the board before we wrap, because I keep getting messages from people who want the deep cuts, not just the headlines. First deep cut. Watch the seat charts. I'm dead serious. The seat charts at award shows are not random. Whoever gets sat next to whom is a story all by itself. When the press releases the venue layout this week, and trust me, somebody will leak it, look at where Remy Ma's husband Papoose is seated. Look at where the Bronx legends are clustered. Look at where French Montana and Max B's tables are. Pay attention to which rows are blocked off for surprise walk-ups. The closer those tables are to the stage right wing, the louder the surprise act story gets. Second deep cut. The Shaquille O'Neal Reebok refresh has been quietly making partnerships with athletes who have BET nominations this cycle. That's not me speculating. That's how Reebok always operates around major black entertainment moments. If Claressa is trying to slide into that conversation through Angel Reese, that is a billion-dollar lane she's eyeing, not just a podcast appearance. And she knows it. Third deep cut. There has been chatter among production circles that BET wants the 2026 broadcast to push harder into the streaming era. with companion content rolling out on social platforms during the live show. That means whatever the surprise act is, the network needs that act to be highly clippable, highly memeable, and highly shareable in the first 90 seconds. Tell me what is more clippable than Remy Ma walking out unannounced. I'll wait. Fourth deep cut. Insiders have been quietly noting that several of the rumored performers have had their schedules cleared for an entire 36-hour window around the show. That kind of clearance usually only happens when somebody has multiple stage moments planned, not just one. And one of those names that has been on that quiet clearance list, the name nobody has been saying out loud until this video right here, is Remy Ma. Take that for what it is. Fifth deep cut. The conversation around Sportswoman of the Year is being shaped, more than usual this year, by social media engagement numbers from the eligibility period. That is new. That changes the math. Because if engagement is part of the unspoken criteria, Aya Wilson is even harder to beat, given how much her year went viral. But it also means Claressa's Atlanta Dream appearance, with that jumbotron clip moving around the internet, is not a coincidence. It is a last-minute engagement spike, on the record, days before voting closes. See what I mean? Nothing in this story is random. Every move is a move. And the wild part is, this is just 1 week of the BET storyline. This is one chapter of the soap opera that is going to drag itself all the way through summer. Think about it. After the awards air, every single result is going to spark another 2 weeks of commentary. The winner of Sportswoman of the Year is going to have a press tour. The loser of Sportswoman of the Year is going to have a comment that the internet runs with for days. If Remy Ma walks out, we get a Remy Network rollout press cycle. If Remy Ma doesn't walk out, we get a different rumor mill about why she was held back. If French Montana and Max B bring the house down without her, we get a debate about whether the moment needed her or not. If they don't bring the house down, we get a different conversation entirely about the quality of New York reunions in 2026. There is no scenario where this story dies on Sunday night. Every outcome opens a new door. Every door opens a new conversation. Every conversation feeds a new round of takes. Hot takes, lukewarm takes, and the famous "I told you so" takes from people who didn't even watch the show. That is why I tell you, every single time, the BET Awards is no longer just one night of TV. It is the launching pad for 2 weeks of culture. And right now, we are still in the loading screen. Now let me say something that might step on a few toes, but it needs to be said before we close this out. The reason this story is hitting different right now is because Black women in entertainment, in sports, and in media are finally being allowed to occupy multiple lanes at once without being forced to pick one. Remy Ma is a rap legend, a wife, a mother, a TV personality, and now a network founder. Claressa Shields is a champion, a businesswoman, a podcast host, an actress, and now apparently a strategist. Angel Reese is a player, a brand, a content creator, and a culture mover. Aya Wilson is an athlete, a humanitarian, a face of campaigns, and a magazine cover staple. 15 years ago, the industry would have demanded each of them stay in one box. Today, they are building empires by refusing to do that. And the BET Awards stage is the venue where those empires get crowned, called out, debated, and pushed into the next gear. That is why this conversation matters. That is why every smile on the jumbotron carries weight. That is why every name added to a performer list is loaded. That is why every quiet absence from a press release is loud. And that, my friends, is also why I keep telling you, do not just watch the show. Watch what the show is being used to do. And one more thing before I let you go, because I almost forgot to drop this on you. Keep your eyes on the red carpet pre-show too. Because more often than not, the surprise act doesn't walk that carpet. They are kept in a private holding room while the rest of the talent is doing their photo lines. So if you watch the carpet stream live and you do not see Remy Ma on it, that is not a sign she isn't there. That might be the loudest sign that she absolutely is there, just being protected for the big moment. That's the kind of detail you only catch if you know how these shows actually run. And now you know. So Sunday night, do not just watch the show. Watch the carpet. Watch the gaps. Watch the silences. Because in this game, silence is the loudest tell of all. So that's where I'm going to leave it tonight. If you made it this far in the video, you already know how I move. I don't do the surface read. I don't do the obvious recap. I sit with the timing. I sit with the chessboard. I sit with the layered moves that don't make sense on day 1, but make all the sense in the world on day 7. And I bring it back to you so we can talk about it together. If you got value out of this breakdown, do me one quick favor. Drop a like. Share it with the person you know who watches the BET Awards every single year and pretends like they don't care. Hit subscribe so the next time something this layered breaks, you don't miss the breakdown. And turn on the notification bell so you're not catching this conversation 48 hours late after everybody else has already moved on. Tell me in the comments what you think the biggest surprise of the 2026 BET Awards is going to be. Tell me who you think is winning Sportswoman of the Year. Tell me whether you think Claressa pulled off her redemption arc or whether the internet is going to catch her. And tell me, most importantly, whether you think Remy Ma is about to walk out on that stage and end the night before it even starts. Because if she does, you heard it here first. And if she doesn't, well, we get to come back here and break down the next set of moves on the chessboard. Either way, the conversation continues. And either way, I'm in this seat, with this mic, ready to break it down again the next time the curtain shifts. Stay sharp, stay loud, watch the gaps, watch the silences, and I will absolutely catch you in the very next one. Until then, keep your eyes on the chessboard. Keep your phone charged for the surprise alerts. And remember, the loudest stories of the year are the ones still hiding in the green room before the stage lights actually hit showtime.